Well, hello there, everyone. Hopefully, you're doing outstanding. It is Monday, May the 9th, year 2022. Time just flies along, doesn't it? Remember, I am not a financial advisor, CPA, or attorney. I'm a dancer, see? Yeah, I love dancing. Anyway, do you make plans? Do you set goals? Do you excuse me, tripping over my words. Do you jot things down before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning? I think helicopter pilot Caleb said he writes something down every morning, or is it at night? I forget. Little goals or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But do you? I've been the sort of person, I didn't call it setting goals, I planned stuff, but same thing as setting goals. Going back a long time ago, I remember, I'll give you some examples, and maybe by me sharing my stories, it can help you out on your journey to financial independence, greater wealth, or whatever it is that you want to do with your life, okay? We're all individuals. We all have different lives. You may not want to buy rental property. You may want to invest in the stock market. You may want to invest in oil. You may want to invest in crypto. It's your choice. We have free will. We can make our choices. So by sharing stories, hopefully it will help you to make some decisions for yourself, okay? So a couple things here. Back when I was a young man, I was in the Navy. I remember at one point finding out I could re-enlist and get a re-enlistment bonus. It wasn't a lot of money, but if I did it, I was under a 6-year contract. I had gotten orders to go to Puerto Rico from the country of Panama, and my tour in Puerto Rico was a 3-year tour because I was married. To accept the orders, I would have had to extend or re-enlist for longer in the Navy because that 3-year tour, I'd already been in the Navy 3.5 years or something like that. So with that 3-year tour, that would have put me beyond my 6 years, okay? So I had a choice to make. What could I do? But I found out about the re-enlistment bonus, and what I found out was that I could drop my remaining time in the Navy, that 3.5 years, and re-enlist for a longer time period, such as 6 years, to get the maximum SRB bonus, selective re-enlistment bonus that I could possibly get. And it wasn't a lot. It was like $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, something like that. But they tax it, so you get much less than that. That bumps you to a higher tax bracket, so you get a lot less than that. So I stressed about that because I was like, oh man, more time in the Navy. If I do this and I finish that 3 years in Puerto Rico, where are they going to send me? What am I going to do? But if I don't do it, if I turn these orders down, I might go to a ship. So I was torn, but I decided to make that decision, do the 3 years in Puerto Rico after 2.5 years in Panama. While in Puerto Rico, I met some milestones. I completed my bachelor's degree. I started going to college when I was in the country of Panama. I completed it in Puerto Rico. My oldest son was born on the island of Puerto Rico in a Navy hospital. He doesn't remember that. All right. When I did leave Puerto Rico, I had roughly 2.5 years left on my enlistment. And while I was in Puerto Rico, I had a commanding officer, after I completed my bachelor's degree, I had a commanding officer call me in and had a nice chat with me, trying to encourage me to apply for OCS, Officer Candidate School. Because I had my bachelor's degree, 4-year degree, I had 4.0 evaluations, I was a good sailor, etc., etc., etc. She said she would give her personal recommendation. I turned her down. I said I was planning to get out, and she was like, but Officer Kearney, you still have like 3 or 4 years left on your enlistment. It's like, what do you mean you're getting out? You're going to change your mind between now and then. You should apply for this. And I was like, no, ma'am. My mind's made up. So then I went on to the state of Maine and with the Navy. And I was working there. I was the LPO, leading petty officer. I was an E6. And one day I got word that the commanding officer, a Captain Castle, that was his last name, William R. Castle, that he wanted to talk to me. And I went over to his office, like, why does the captain want to talk with me? And he did the same thing. He talked to me about Officer Candidate School and encouraged me to apply, said he would give his personal endorsement as a captain, commanding officer. And he said basically, I would get accepted because he would endorse it. I said, thank you, sir, but no thank you. I'm planning to get out when my enlistment is up. He's like, are you sure you want to make that decision? You're a young guy still, you're in your 20s. you will almost be halfway through your 20 years by the time you get out. All you got to do is do another 10 years, but at the end of your enlistment, basically do another 10 years, and you could get a pension. And why not get a pension as an officer? If you go out in the civilian world, there's no guarantee on what job you'll get. And I was like, well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it, but my mind's made up. So the time came, and I did get out of the active duty with the Navy. After I got out, I had saved up my leave. Leave is like vacation time. You get 30 days of annual leave in the military. I saved up. You can accumulate up to a maximum of 90 days, but you can only carry over 30 days a year, something like that. So I accumulated 90 days that would coincide with my EAOS, my end of active service. So when I left Maine, I basically had 90 days of leave with my Navy pay coming in. And I probably got housing allowance too, because I had to have gotten it, different benefits. So anyway, I moved to Southwest Virginia. I like the Southwest, I guess. And in the mountains. And I had a house down there I bought for $30,000. And I was living there, and I was putting a roof on the house. You know, imagine Mazske being 29 years old and being up on a roof every day, laying tar paper, nailing shingles, one shingle at a time. I put a roof on, basically, I'd say 98% by myself. It was fun. Never again. Never again. My knees were hurting after doing that. So, but anyway, then I got scared during that time period, because I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm walking away from a good career. I was a good sailor. I was an E6. I was told I could be a shoo-in to make E7. I was told I could become an officer. What am I doing? So I called back up to my command in Maine, and I talked to somebody I knew, and I said, what are my options here if I want to stay in? And I was told, well, you're still under contract. You're on your leave time. Basically, you can drive back up to Maine, come back to Maine, however you want to do it. Come back in, check back in, and re-enlist for more time, and then basically call for orders. Find out where you're going to, because my time there I probably could stay for several months, but I'd be up for orders, so I'd have to call for orders. And I was like, let me think about this. I thought about it, and I was like, I'm not doing that. Because if I do that, by that time, I had my son. My wife may or may not have been pregnant at that time. I can't remember. We had a second son. And I was like, the unknown, if I re-enlist, I just been on stateside shore duty. It's almost guaranteed I'm either going to go to a foreign country like Guam, an island. It wasn't a foreign country per se, but it's territory of the U.S., I believe. I could have gone to Guam, might have gone to Japan, Australia, or I might have gone to a ship. And I was like, I lived outside the United States for 6 years. Do I want to go outside the United States again, especially to an island? Do I want to go to a ship when I've never been on a ship? When I'm pushing 30 and I'm a high enough rank that people look at me as a leader, but I've never been on a ship. It'd all be new to me. So I stayed out. I did then join the Navy Reserves. And in the Navy Reserves, it was a joke to me. It was, after almost 10 years active duty in the Navy, the Reserves, it was a joke. But then I found out a way, after a couple of years, I found out a way that I could get my retirement points by doing courses. So I was like, well, shoot, I got all these years in. If I do these courses and can stick it out for 20 years, I'll get a pension when I'm 60, as long as I live to be 60. So I did those courses and I stuck it out. And I had to re-enlist for 6 years, and I had to re-enlist a couple times, I think, to get the time in. And I basically retired in the year 2010 as an E7 from the United States Naval Reserves. Again, if I live to be 60, 5.5 years from now, roughly, I will get my Navy pension. It won't be a lot, but it's something. So anyway, I left Southwest Virginia because jobs were not very good. Took a job with a company. I said, I got a bachelor's degree in business. I want to get a job. So I got into a management training program with a company. They sent me through several states for 2 to 3 months in a training program, and then relocated me to the Shenandoah Valley, where I then ran a business company. And while doing that, one day I was reading the newspaper, help wanted section, and saw an ad for a police department, and it said 2 things in there. College preferred, Spanish speakers encouraged to apply. Well, by golly, I had a college degree and I spoke some Spanish, so I applied. I went through the process and got hired, and when I was offered the job, I remember driving away from there in my 1987 Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. This was in the year 1998. And I was offered the job. I was going to start the police academy. And I remember I had looked over my paperwork, and I remember telling myself, Maskey, you can get a pension in 20 years. Full retirement's 25 years, but in 20 years, you're 30 years old. In 20 years, you'll be 50. You can take early retirement. So for 20 years, I stuck it out through thick, thin, through guns being pointed at me, punches being thrown, being spit on, getting in scuffles, arresting people, being called every name in the book. I stuck it out. So I got a pension. But then, as those years progressed, raising two sons, money was tight a lot of times. But I was always putting a little bit of money in my 457 plan. And I was always investing in my kids. I was putting them in music classes. I was putting them in sports. I was reading to them, taking them to the library, teaching them a variety of things. I had told the missus that it's like the kids, we can't spoil the kids because we don't have the financial capability to spoil them. But we can put all the seeds in them so they can have a great future. And meanwhile, we'll save a little bit. And I remember telling her we will have more money when we're old than we do now. And she was like, she didn't buy it completely. But as the years went on, my stock portfolio grew a little bit. Not a lot, but it grew a little bit. I learned how to invest in stocks, so on and so on. Then I got my first rental property, and voila. I am now living in Southwest Florida. I'm 54 years old. I'm lean, financially independent. My missus is down here, and workers are down there putting the finishing touches on my dock/tiki hut. Not the roof of the tiki hut, but all the deck boards and the ladder and the rope and a variety of different things. And the more I've thought about it, it's like it all came from setting goals. Going back as a young man in my 20s, I made some decisions that may have been the right decision, may have been the wrong decision. But by the time I was 30, I started making better decisions. And I had kids, and kids changed my life. And then as the years went on, the plan started forming. Because prior to retiring, the money got better. The kids had grown. They went off to the United States Coast Guard Academy. And it's like when your kids leave, it's like you get a pay raise. And I was still working. The missus was working. So we started taking vacations, exploring the South. We went to Savannah, Georgia. We went to Charleston, South Carolina. We went to Pensacola, Florida. We went to Jacksonville, Florida. And then we came down here to Southwest Florida. Stayed in an Airbnb. And we stayed in that Airbnb. It didn't have a swimming pool, but it was on the water. And we were like, this is the spot. This is it. This is it. It doesn't even frost here. In the coldest days of the year, it doesn't frost. So I was like, this is it. And that was in 2019. So in April of 2020, I sat down and I wrote my 2-year plan down, my goals. And I said, I want to move to Southwest Florida. I want to do it in 2 years because time's ticking on. I want to do it in 2 years. This was April of 2020. It worked. By writing it down, I figured out how to do it. I figured out the steps to take. I figured out the process. And I went full bore into ramping up, getting more rental properties. And I closed on this house in March of 2021. Not quite 12 months, 11 and a half months after I wrote down my 2-year plan. So it didn't take me 2 years. It took me less than a year. Okay. Why did it happen? Because as a young man, I became diligent about saving money. I didn't invest right away. I became diligent about saving money, being frugal. And as the years went on, I never made a lot. I didn't chase the dollar. I turned it in the police department. I was promoted and I turned it down. And people looked at me then and it's like, what are you doing? Why are you turning it down? I was like, I don't want that. I want to stay doing what I'm doing. I got my investments. I don't need the stress of that extra position. So I turned it down. And same with my kids sometimes. I had parents talk to me about my kids when they were younger. And it's like, you need to put them in a private school. They're smart. Get them out of this public school. Put them in a private school like we do with our kids. And I was like, no, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. My kids turned out good. Their kids didn't turn out as good. I know, I'm not going to say who they are or nothing. But anyway, my kids turned out well. All right. So anyway, you got to set goals with everything. Set goals in your life. All right. If you're watching this channel, you're concerned about your financial future. you want to be an investor, which I applaud you for that. Thank you for wanting to be an investor, and thank you for watching this channel. But investing is intimidating to a lot of people, but it shouldn't be. It's not that hard. But I understand it can be intimidating. All right, so my goal with this channel is to help share my stories of how I did things to hopefully open up more ideas for you to make your own decisions. I can't reach through this camera to hold your hand to help you get along on your journey. You have to do that yourself. All right, you got to do it yourself. I'll help you the best I can from afar. If I know you, if you're in my mastermind group, I'll help you. But in my mastermind group, you guys and gals are all doing fine. You're doing fine. All right, so that's what life is about. Life's a journey. All right, we got to take care of ourselves. We got to take care of others. If you start getting into rental property, there's different ways you can look at it. But one thing you're doing, you are helping your community, the country. You are providing housing. You're providing work to contractors. And that's helping people. You're a business owner, okay? You're a business owner, and you're helping other people, okay? Just like hopefully my channel is helping at least one of you, all right? All right, good enough. This is getting long. I might meander down to the water and check on the workers, but I don't want to bother them either. They hope to be wrapped up by lunchtime, so we'll see. All right, and I probably won't make a video down there. I might make a general like sweep, but I probably won't sit down there and make a video until the roof is put on. And that might be another couple weeks away, because without the roof, I'm in the sunshine. So, all right, so we'll see. But at least I got a place to walk now. I'm out on 12 feet out over to the water. So anyway, stop by and visit me if you get down here. All right? So anyway, Mazske is signing out.